Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to a weekly COT review. Today we're going to be looking at the 17th Commitment to Traders Report of 2020. And as we always do, we shall start our analysis by looking at the largest changes in the past 1 year. And you can see we've got the Minneapolis wheat on top of our list with a 27% change in commercials positions. There's a 23% change in large speculators. If you compare that to this 52 weeks time horizon that we are looking at, then of course you can easily see that this is amongst the largest changes in the past 1 year. This suggests that we could see some movement higher early next week in this market. So it is a bullish COT change signal. And if you move on to the 5 years chart, you can see that actually from the COT Extremes perspective, we might be talking more about a bullish extreme than a bearish one. You may see that on this 5 years chart pretty easily. And just so you know, if you look at these relative bullish extremes, for example, the one I'm showing you to you from March of this year, or from December of last year, or from September of last year, and of course we can find multiple examples how well these bullish extremes pinpointed lows in the market. So I wouldn't say this is such an extreme right now. Nevertheless, the change is definitely bullish. We might see a bit of a rebound in this downtrend, further pushing prices a bit higher. We shall see what happens here. But moving on to a more exciting market, of course, there's a lot of talk about crude oil. We have the WTI crude oil here with a 16% change in commercials positions, a 32% change in large speculators, and a huge 71% change in small speculators. I would say this could be one of the largest changes in the COT history of crude oil. So that's huge. It's quite clear if you compare this to the 1 year's time frame that it is a huge. And of course, generally speaking, we consider the large speculators and commercials changes are definitely bearish. But the small speculators change can be considered bullish, no question about that. They heavily decreased their net long positions from roughly 44,000 down below 10, roughly 5,000, 5,500 contracts net long. That's a very significant move. So of course, we may have actually seen that move in the market. A rebound in crude oil could have been that. Moving on to the 5 years chart, you can see even on this 5 years chart, it's quite visible that this change in small speculators positions is huge. I would say the largest on this 5 years time horizon, no question about that. And the extreme is definitely, if you look at large speculators and commercials, gradually increasing towards the bearish side of the market. Not necessarily there yet. We've seen much greater extremes in the past. And of course, if this rebound continues, we see crude oil going past the $20 mark, possibly going to the 30s, and this continues, we would get to a point where that might actually be a good opportunity to think about the short side of the market, because of course this is becoming a bearish extreme. The energy complex, that's something for subscribers, so we're going to jump over that, but heating oil is the next market. Where again we see a bullish COT change signal here we have a bullish, of course, crude oil we had a bearish extreme. I hope I said that. If I mixed up, I'm sorry for that. So that was crude oil. You can see even this red color here indicating a bearish COT change signal, and of course the green here in heating oil is a bullish COT change signal. And of course the picture is a bit different than crude oil. Because we've been witnessing always a declining market here throughout the week and weeks actually since January. Basically the whole year we've been in this bearish mode. The change signal is a bit larger than average, but if you look at the chart, don't put too much emphasis on it. It's not necessarily that large. If we move on to the 5 years chart, you can see that we had this bullish extreme without any effect on the market. Drop down, of course, we should experience again a widening towards the bullish side to really get to the point where we can put more probability that we could see a change in the trend. Not now, I would say, not now. Large speculators still below the zero line, net short. That generally tells you what the trend is. So that's the heating oil. Moving on to large speculator COT Extreme, we've got the energy complex and the true US dollar index. Those again for our subscribers, but we can open the euro with a 96 report extreme in large speculators. And of course, by opening the chart, it's quite visible that this is a bearish COT Extreme. Not the largest. We've seen larger extremes back in 2018. Beautiful extreme, by the way. And of course, we are going in that direction right now. So from the COT reports perspective, we would conclude that this is still a more bearish picture for the euro. But I promise you, we are going to have some other currencies, for example, the Mexican peso, because we talked about the crude oil. We're going to jump over that. And the Mexican peso is the next market with a 69 report extreme in large speculators. And here we are talking about a bullish extreme, no question about that. If you look at the chart, we had the last major bullish extreme in December of 2018. I would say a successful signal. We had another example from June of the same year, beautiful example. And of course, we are at those levels. So we could see some further decline. So as I said in my previous review, because of the magnitude such an extreme can get to, and I'm showing you examples right now from before 2017, that suggests you should be cautious. This could increase. But nevertheless, we are starting to become or getting into a more bullish picture here. So that's, that's could be a good opportunity here in the Mexican peso. And moving on to corn, where we have a 48 report extreme, not that large, but let's open it. And of course, the charts will tell you a bit more. This is an unquestionable bullish extreme. There's no question about that. Let's see what happened to the market when we had a major bullish extreme. And back here in May of 2019, huge example, great example. Not necessarily the easiest market to trade, of course. So of course, these COT extreme signals don't necessarily mean that the market will jump in that direction right away, but definitely gives you a hint which way we will see the market shift. And of course, this example, really a beautiful example. Of course, we can find some more examples in the past when we had a bullish COT extreme. And of course, this is a bullish extreme. It could, of course, get to even greater levels. We've seen much greater extremes in the past. So that's something you should keep in mind before you jump in and start buying corn. Nevertheless, it is an eye-opening and suggesting we should definitely be looking at the corn market in the next couple of weeks and month ahead of us, because it could be giving us a good opportunity soon. So that was all for this review. Don't forget, there's a lot to do here at COT Base. If you want to analyze COT reports, we offer you all the COT report types available, other data types, other data sets. Of course, we're always looking at the net positions here in these reviews. All the market categories. We're not always showing you all the market categories here in these reviews, and a lot else to do, doing a historical analysis if you want. So, great service. Hope you will give it a try, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you for being with me. I wish you a pleasant Sunday and weekend. Take care and see you next week. Goodbye.